captivating, the storyline so captivating, all while being locked in this storage unit.
Yeah, it's an amazing bit of like luck that we had. We got it done right before COVID. So, I mean, there was a lot of kind of asking, like if we should push to like 2020 to shoot. And, sometimes you just got to go for it. And I think that kind of momentum delivered in the film as well, just in like the performances, the way people acted, the camera work, everything.
Oh yeah, it was all exceptional. And congratulations on your first feature. Now I know you've done some shorts before, but this was your first directorial debut as a feature. Now, what were some of the challenges that you faced making that transition?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I directed about 6 shorts before this. I'm also a commercial director. I've been doing it for a long time. But, the biggest thing, honestly, is, facing actors that have a lot more experience than you do and kind of trusting their process and trusting what they're going to bring to the table and not trying to micromanage everything. That's really the biggest thing.
I know. And then on your first, project out the gates, you get to work with Mena Suvari and, Jeff. You have all these really talented actors at your disposal. I mean, what was it like to have that in your toolbox?
Well, look, I mean, you got Mena Suvari, who's been in Oscar-winning films. You got Jeff, who's got this incredible resume. Costas Mandylor, Manny Perez, Bruno Bashir. They were all exceptional, and they all, like I said, have experience that was really needed for my part to understand how to, really deliver these performances that would make sense and be believable. And also, let me tell you something, when you're a first-time director, it's incredible to have someone that can knock something out in 2 takes and, get the train moving, as they say in production.
Exactly. Now, what was one thing that they taught you, Jeff or Mena, that maybe you're going to take with you into your next feature, your next project?
Listen to your actors. Because they really kind of emphasized how professional directors really trust their actors. And the guys, Clint Eastwood, who, Jeff has worked with, and Sam Mendes, who Mena's worked with, all really trusted the actors and their process.
Absolutely. Now, what was the genesis of this film, Carlos? I know you wrote it. Like, what made you think storage unit locked in? What made you think that?
I wanted to do something for my first film that was contained. And, there's been so many movies now. There's this, plethora of movies out there. And I thought, what would be kind of an original location? I started with the location. And then in the research, I actually kind of came up with the character of Mena based on someone who actually worked in a self-storage. So it really started from there. And actually, I own self-storages in LA and in Miami. And I've been in many of them and actually gotten lost actually inside of them doing the research and going like, wait, did I turn a corner here or there? And so, they're built like mazes, essentially. They all look the same, whichever corner you go down. So that was honestly the location, and the visuals of the location were the impetus for everything.
And it is kind of crazy being in a labyrinth where everything kind of looks the same, with people that are trying to kill you or harm you. There is like a fear factor there, right?
100%. I think that's like a huge phobia people have now, because it seems like everybody these days has a self-storage, right? And how do you kind of like tap into that fear, but without making it like a monster movie or a serial killer movie? It makes it like more of a cat and mouse movie. And that's
it makes it a lot more real. It aligns with reality a lot more. And I love a good action thriller where you just don't know what's going to happen to the end. Did you always know what was going to happen at the end there, or did you kind of make some changes?
I have to be honest with you, I always wanted the ending that's there. I imagined it. And it did go through some versions, in terms of like what happens, but the ending and kind of this, the feeling I wanted the audience to walk away with never changed.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you executed it exquisitely. Now, you're not just an award-winning director, you're also a poet.
Correct? Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that. So I actually started writing. My first passion was writing. I actually started writing short stories that would freak out my parents, kind of dark, twisted little short stories. And then I also did poems. And a lot of that was kind of like the impetus for me getting into screenwriting. So I came into directing through screenwriting. Some of the directors come in from a different medium. And so that's really how I got started.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's great. I love the writing in it. I thought the dialogue was exceptional. The way you were able to manage to keep the storyline, going and keep me enthralled. I've watched it 3 times, like I said, and being contained like that was just, I mean, it's really great work. What advice, Carlos, would you give aspiring screenwriters or directors?
Yeah, what advice? I would say be very diligent about your casting. Have a really clear idea of what your casting should look like, what your cast should look like. Try not to create a cast of thousands in your first film. A lot of first-time filmmakers want to make a Spielberg style film, a big, big, brawny film. And what you have to realize is if you deliver performances, you are going to be noticed. And I think that's the difference of this film versus a lot of first features, that the actors reacted to the script. They bought into the kind of way the characters were developed in the script and said, let me help you, Mr. Director, into making this a great film.
And a great film it is. What's next for you, Carlos?
So I actually was given a script from a producer, a friend of mine, and it looks like that will be the next film we're going to be doing. It might be shooting out of the country, yes, in the middle of COVID, but we're going to be taking all the proper precautions. I can't tell you more about it than that, but it looks like that's going to be the next film. And then I have a third film also in the works. That's an original from myself that we're hoping to get going, hopefully by early 2022.